Hey, it's Tim.
And it's Amy from GoWithLess. We're so glad you're here with us today. In today's video, we're going to be getting deep into our spending for the month of September. I hope you'll watch the whole video.
Every Wednesday here on our channel, we come out with a new video, typically talking about our early retirement or our nomadic lifestyle. In 2015, we left our careers in our late 40s and retired early. And in January of 2020, we sold our home and became full-time nomads.
Because it's the second Wednesday of the month, we are looking back at our numbers last month. So we're going to talk all about our September spending and share some stories in each one of our categories. Now, before we get into the numbers, just to share, we have been in Washington State every single day of the month of September. This is the place we've been the longest in 2020, and for the rest of the year, we don't plan to be anywhere longer than here, and it will be 8 weeks and like 3 days. We're getting ready to leave tomorrow, so when this video comes out, we're actually going to be in transit to our next stop, which will be Southern California, where it is a lot warmer. It's cool here.
There you go. Another quick thing before we launch into our numbers is every month we try to spend $3,000 a month or less in a given month, and that's just an arbitrary number that we're comfortable with. We've been spending roughly that amount of money over the course of the last 3 or 4 years since we retired, and so, but it's not necessarily a budget. It's just that's our target, I guess, is what we would call it. And so with that, we will launch into our conversation. So in the month of September, we spent $2,679 for the month. So we beat our target for the month, and we're pretty happy with that.
We are pretty happy with that. And let's get into the number one expense. It was our health and fitness, and we have notes below, so we're looking down below. $972. When you only have $3,000 of money a month to spend, almost a third of it on health and fitness is wow. And at $972, ouch, that covered some of our doctor's visits that we had, all of our visits back in the month of August. And these are the things that we paid out of pocket on. We do use Liberty Health Shares currently for our health insurance. So far for September, their rate held steady at $349. On October 1st, it shot up to $499, more than 40% increase. And we are actively working to find some other healthcare plan, and we will be doing a full dedicated video when we have that. So we had $308 in blood work, just routine blood work for me. That was, I guess, done. The blood work was done in August, charged in September, discussed in October. So holy cow. And then one of my just routine annual doctor's visits was $233 out of pocket. These things are going toward our deductible, so they're being paid for out of pocket. Ouch.
Our second largest expense is going to be home and lodgings. We spent $646 for the month of September on home and lodging. We spent about $502 specifically on what we'll call rent. So we are not paying anywhere near what would be market rates for rent. It's just we are in a friend's place, and we are paying for a variety of things to make this a go. And then we also renewed our Escapees annual fee. Escapees it's Escapees RV Club. It's where we have our mail service back in Texas, and that was $135 for that renewal, which covers us for the next year. That doesn't include postage. That basically is just being members of the RV club, and for the service, them collecting our mail for us. Every time we have our mail sent to us, there is another charge associated with that. Typically, it's $10 or less, or that's been our experience so far to date, shipping here in the U.S.
And we did an entire video dedicated to escapees and our mail and becoming Texans. I'm going to put that right up here. So make sure you check that out if you have any interest in the deep details of our mail. We talk all about it. Number 3, food and dining was $397. Not too bad. We did a little bit of dining out. We bought a lot of groceries the month before, and we're eating out of the freezer a lot. So in the pantry. So we are near the sea here, and we went to the town of on Whidbey Island. We had these Penn Cove mussels. They were in a apple mustard broth that was so delicious, and they were so plump. So we've had almost all the mussels that we've had have been in Colorado, because that's where we've lived for close to 20 years. So having them right out of the sea was a different kind of mussel.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think we both concluded that these are the best mussels we've ever had. So not that we have mussels very often, but these were phenomenal. And also could have just been the setting and where we were.
Perfect
but nonetheless,
day.
it was they were delicious.
Yeah, so we ate outside in the town of Whidbey. I don't know if it's a town, but the island, Whidbey Island, is so beautiful and so charming. So definitely a place to get on your bucket list. And also with the food and dining, we had a lobster roll. So we went out for lunch one day to a place that's is a seafood market. And while we were there, we had some fish tacos and a lobster roll for lunch. I think a lobster roll is one of my top 10 foods on the planet. And this one was really good. I don't think that they have lobster out here, so I don't know that it was a local kind of a lobster, but it didn't really matter because it was super delicious and super filled with lobster meat. And we shared that. We had been meaning to get back ever since, and we're going to leave without getting back to have another lobster roll. So we're going to have to come back for another visit to have a lobster roll.
I think this is kind of funny. So Amy, so early in our visit, we found meat on sale. That was a really great deal.
Meat.
I found chicken that was on sale. We found pork that was on sale. And so we stocked our freezer with all this meat. And then we realized after we'd been here for a month and we had all this meat in the freezer that we had more meat than we were going to be able to eat before we left. And so we made a commitment that every time we eat out, we're going to try and have seafood, since that was one of the things that we had hoped to have here, period. But nonetheless, we are in the last throes of using up this meat, and so we have about 2 pounds of chicken we've got to go and cook today and figure out what we're going to do with it. But anyway, we've struggled with the volume of meat that we purchased for the month, and we're trying to sort of sort through that now as we're trying to get out of here. Again, the troubles of being a nomad, I guess.
And just to say, like the 2 pounds of chicken, we don't have any more meals to eat it. So we're just going to be bringing 2 pounds of cooked chicken. I'm going to make a gigantic batch of chicken salad. And we're heading to Portland for a very short trip after this. We have meals with every one of our friends. So I don't know when we're eating 2 pounds of chicken salad. I am prepared to make sandwiches and give them to homeless people is what I'm
We also have 2 dozen hard-boiled eggs.
Yes. I think we're going to be giving this food out, and that's my hope. Now, when Tim says, I'm just going to say, when he says, like, we found all this meat on sale, when we were coming here, I had said, hey, Tim, let's go nuts on our budget. I love seafood. Like, I adore seafood. We don't have enough of it. We're from Colorado, so even though there's okay seafood, it's not the same. So here we are. We're looking at the water every minute of our life here. I want seafood. And so I said, all I wanted to be doing is eating seafood. Well, Tim brings in dozens and dozens of pounds of chicken, beef, and pork, and I have had almost no chicken. I had almost no seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was on sale. So everyone thinks I am the only one who gets my way. Sometimes Tim gets his way too. I need seafood.
Occasionally.
Send me seafood. Okay, you're number 4.
The number 4 category is going to be auto and transportation. And so we spent $262 this month in this category. Most of that was gas. We did a bit of driving around this month. And then $95 of it was a credit card renewal that we had for United Airlines credit card. It's a business card that I have. And so we went ahead and renewed that this year. And anyway, so that was the entirety of that category.
And that ends up in travel because it's for airlines. So
that's exactly right. So every time we renew a credit card, we try and put it in the category that it's associated with. And so that doesn't always work. Like if we have a card that just gives us cash back, it's sort of, and we pay an annual fee for it, it's hard to figure out a category that it goes in. This United Airlines card obviously fits into the transportation
hotel goes
category.
into home and lodging.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take entertainment, which is number 5, $232. $211 was for us buying the entire package of the Denver Film Festival. It's going to be online for almost 3 weeks, in a few weeks, I guess it is, and we're going to have access to about 250 cool films. So Tim and I have been massive volunteers with the Denver Film Festival for the past 5 years. I miss our friends and our community there beyond belief. I miss volunteering with them. We love our Denver Film Festival friends and the whole group that goes with it and the festival. So we're really sad that it's not going on. And I don't know how many, we're going to be busy, so I don't know how many of the movies we're going to be able to see, but we kind of looked at this as supporting a great organization. So it's kind of like potentially a charitable donation, I guess. And if we get to see some movies too, that would be great. So supporting the Denver Film Festival.
Yeah, we're not even sure. So according to the festival rules, you have to be in Colorado to actually watch these movies. And I think these are probably the distribution partners that they have these rules. And so we're not planning to be in Colorado. We're going to be in California. And so we're not even positive we'll be able to watch them. I think I have some tricks up my sleeve to make that happen. But anyway, officially, that's right. It could just be a donation.
And we're happy to do it.
We're happy to pay it. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So the sixth largest category this month is going to be utilities, and that's going to come in at $89 for everything in this category this month. So this has a weird thing in it that we don't think actually goes here after the fact, but it's here for now, and so we're going to talk about it in this context. And that is our safety deposit box that is $50 for a year's worth of service. So we probably think this goes back in home, but for this month it's going to be in utilities. And the only other thing that we had, the remainder of this bill, is going to be associated with Amy's Google Fi phone service.
Yeah, I'm going to put up a video about our phone service as well, so that's up here if you want to go check out our phone service. Number 7, shopping, $43. 32 of that was me going and buying some new things at a consignment shop. So they were used. And for the video, I am actually wearing 2 of them. So these earrings and this top were from that. So only $32 included 4 pairs of earrings, and I think it was 3 tops, blouses. And it just kind of shakes things up, because otherwise, for $32, that makes me really happy.
There you go. And I'm going to wrap everything up here. I'm going to talk about the 8th largest category, and then I will talk about the final 2, which have no spending. So the 8th largest category is going to be miscellaneous, and we spent $36 in the month of September in this miscellaneous category. That was primarily some donations and some other things that are just weird that don't necessarily fit into any other bucket, and so that's those. And then we have 2 remaining categories that we spent $0 in, and that's taxes, no money in taxes this month, and business. We spent no money on our business expenses this month, so those are both 0.
Great. So we had a pretty good month of our spending, and a big reason for that is because of our lower rent. So to our friend who may be watching, thank you, because you really saved us this month. So again, to recap, that was $2,679. So that brings us through 9 full months of 2020, and that means that we should be on target for $27,000. 9 months times $3,000 a month means that we should be at $27,000. Well, we are at $26,205, leaving us a surplus of $795. So, but do not get, we're not complacent, because we've already looked at our October numbers in the very first week of October, and we are already at 75% of spending because of some upcoming bigger expenses.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about, as we're preparing for this video, and just the fact that we're spending all this money. We've looked at our numbers for next month, and it's already not looking so good. So we're a little concerned. I think we will make our number this year. I hate to say that, because it seems like everything I've said this year to that effect, I've jinxed us, and so we're not sure, but we have a decent level of confidence that we are going to make this 36K number this year.
We're trying. We're working hard.
We're going to work hard to try and make that happen. However, I don't know. We had a lot of extenuating circumstances this year that worked in our favor. So friends came to our rescue. We found a great sort of COVID rate on one of our stays where we actually paid. So this may not be replicable next year. So we'll see.
And we have, one of the reasons why we're spending so much coming up is because we are paying out of pocket. What we are seeing now on Airbnbs, this is kind of my full-time job. So Tim's full-time job is travel, credit card rewards and things like that. So he spends hours and hours and hours a day on that. I spend hours and hours and hours a day kind of looking for where are we going to live. And I love to do it, but it is an enormous amount of my day. And what I'm seeing is that prices in America aren't so reasonable on Airbnbs. They were months ago, but it seems as though people may be taking more weekend trips or domestic trips because of COVID, and that is keeping the Airbnb rates fairly high. So that is certainly not across the board with every single place, but I am finding a harder time to get a good deal. So we are going to have a month paid coming up, and that is going to kind of mess us up. I will say that our next stop in Southern California, we are taking our time meandering our way down the coast, and we will end up in the Southern California area, where we'll be on a house sit for 3.5 weeks. And it'll be our first house sit since the farm sit we left back in mid-June. And we're really missing pets.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the pets. And this particular sit is a cat, right?
Yeah. A really beautiful cat. So we're going to post something for sure on our Instagram about that. That's over at GoWithLess, where we put like kind of fun travel pictures. And I guess we have a lot of stuff to talk about coming up. We've promised a whole bunch of videos, so I hope you'll subscribe down below, give us a thumbs up. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Adios.